Okay, guys, we're back now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close out of Betaflight. Okay, and we're going to come over and we're going to open our BLHeli. So make sure you have your BLHeli loaded and click on that. I will put links to BLHeli on our page here and Betaflight as well in case you don't have them. And I have a whole video series on how to set them up, all right? All right, so here's what you want to do. At this point, once you open BLHeli, make sure you're loading the 16-bit version, okay, not the 32-bit version, so BLHeli 16. We're going to go ahead and maximize that, I guess. And come over here to the COM port and drop this down and make sure you have the right COM port, which would be 88 in my case. If you drop this down, you'll see it. If you don't see a COM port at all, if your BLHeli looks something like this or it's missing the COM port altogether, come up here to the top, go down to SI Labs BLHeli Bootloader Clean Flight. Okay, that'll give you the option for a COM port here, and again, drop down and then click Read Setup. And you should see it populate 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Okay. Oh, I apologize. Hold on a second. You have to have the power on. So let me disconnect real quick. You still have to have your battery plugged in. So let me go ahead and power mine up and plug this in. I apologize for that. There we go. Now you will see when you click Read Setup, you will now see motors 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there you go. Okay. Now, this already has 16.7 loaded. So if you were to click here and you said flash BLHeli, if you were going to flash your, update your firmware and you clicked it, the most recent update is 16.7. There's absolutely no need to flash this right now. So click cancel. Okay, but we'll run through it in case there was another one. So flash BLHeli, and then you go like this. Click, it'll tell you which is the most recent. You click OK, and it'll start going 1, 2, 3, and 4. Keep in mind that as this is happening, your VTX is still powered on, right? So as long as your VTX is on, it's getting hot. So be very careful to not leave your quad on too long like this without flying it, or it's going to start overheating on the VTX. But you will walk through this entire section. We'll do it 4 times, okay? And then once you do that, we will end up doing the motor calibration, and I'm going to leave it in one shot 125 and test fly it first. Okay, so click OK. Here we go, and we're going to go to click OK again. Okay, and don't forget we also had one motor that was spinning wrong, and that was motor 3. So we're going to set this in BLHeli to correct that as well. Okay, so let's get back to that. This is on motor 3 now doing the firmware, so we've only got one more motor to go. Click OK. Click yes. All right. Now, once this is done, since I know the motor's spinning the wrong direction, I'm going to go ahead and correct that right now, and then we're going to go into calibration. So click OK. There, they're all up to date, okay? Now, I know motor 3 is spinning incorrectly, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click. That basically isolates the motor. Remember, it's a right-click, okay? Isolate the motor, and I'm going to go up here to motor direction. I'm going to tell it to reverse it, because it's spinning the wrong direction, and I need it to spin the other way. So I'm going to tell it to go the reverse direction that it's going. Once I do that, I'm going to click Right Setup, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to left click on all the other motors there. And I'm going to click Right Setup one more time, even though there's nothing more to write. It's a good habit to make sure so you don't turn this off by accident. All right. Now, once you're done with that, click Disconnect and pay close attention. Okay. Once you click Disconnect, I want you to unplug your power source, remove your power, and that means both USB and battery. Okay. Once you've removed your battery and USB, go ahead and plug your USB back in. And now I want you to go back to Betaflight. Okay? You should see your COM port up here in just a second, and when that comes up, I want you to click Connect. Take just a second, depending on your system. There it goes. Now click Connect. Now I want you to go to your Motors tab, and I want you to come on over here. Well, just do me a favor. Go to Configuration. Oh, that's my finder. I got to turn every time. It's a great thing to have until you don't need it. So I'm going to hold this down. 2, 3 seconds. Okay, it's disabled. Now, I want you to make sure you have one shot 125 selected. Okay, this is just a double check. So now I want you to go to Motors, and I want you to scroll down, and I want you to click this toggle right here so that it turns on. And I want you to take your master control and put it all the way up. These should all be in yellow and read 2000. And at that point, I want you to go ahead and plug in your battery and listen for these tones. And when those tones stop, I want you to come over here and I want you to drag the master back down. And that's the second set of tones. Once those tones are done, turn this toggle off, turn your battery off, okay? And disconnect from Betaflight. Go back to BLHeli, turn your battery back on, click Read Setup, and I want you to see, do you see where this says setup is not in sync with master? Setup not in sync with master. This means that the motors are not in sync with the ESCs, are not in sync with each other, and we are going to fix that right now. So first thing we're going to do is, I want you to pay very close attention to this. I want you to right click on motor number 1 to where it's isolated. And I want you to look up here where it says PPM minimum throttle and PPM maximum throttle. And I want you to write those numbers down. Minimum throttle is 1012, maximum throttle is 1, and now yours may be different than mine, but write your values down, then go to number 2 and do the same thing, 1012 and 2000. Number 3, 1012, 2000. Number 4, 1012, 2004. All right. So if we go back and look at all of these, 1012, we know that motors 1, 2, 3, and 4 all have the same minimum value. So what you would do here is you would put the highest number between all 4 of these in here. So let's say you had, motor 1 had 1012 and motor 2 had 1016, and motor 3 was 1012 and motor 4 was 1012. All of them would go to 1016. It would go to the highest minimum value. And for the maximum value, if you look here, 1 has 1996, 2 has 2000, 3 has 2000, and 4 has 2004. Well, you have to go to the lowest maximum value because that's the value all 4 motors can achieve, and that's going to be here. So that's going to be 1996. So we are going to make sure that when we know the values, 1, we're going to left click back on the motors here, and we're going to put the value here, which these were the same, and all of these need to be 1996. So let's make sure that we adjust it to 1996 for all of them and click Right Setup. And 1 didn't have anything, but the rest of these had to be changed to 1996. So now if you right click on them one at a time, they all have the same minimum and maximum. And watch this, when I click check, all that not in sync is gone. They're all in sync with each other, okay? So again, let's go ahead and click OK, and then we can click Right Setup one more time, although there'll be nothing to write, and then we can disconnect. All right, now look. This can get a little confusing, so let's go over this one more time before we end for the BLHeli portion. All right, so when you're talking, I'm going to turn my battery off here. When you're talking about minimum and maximum values, one more second, please. Got to turn my buzzer off. Okay, remember this. The number that goes in the minimum PPM, that is the highest number, okay, between all 4 motors. So when you right-click on each motor and you isolate them, and you see the minimum value, whichever one has the highest value, all 4 have to go to that value. And imagine it like this. What it's basically saying is, what is the lowest value that each motor can achieve, or each ESC can achieve? Well, all 4 of them, let's say, so if all 4 of them can achieve 1016, right, 1016, but only 3 of them could have gone to 1012. Well, the one that went to 1016 could not reach 1012, but all the rest of them could do 1016. So you pick the highest minimum value, and you make sure all motors have that. And the same thing for the maximum value. What is the maximum value all motors can reach? And that's going to be the lowest value, because they all, let's say it's 1996 is motor 1, and the rest of them are 2000. Well, to get to 2000, 3 of those had to pass 1996, but motor 1 can't get there. So we know that all 4 of them can do 1996, so that's the value you put for the maximum. So you put the highest minimum value and the lowest maximum value, and those are the 2 values that all the motors can achieve. It makes sense? If you have any questions, ask me about it. I know it's a little confusing, but really it makes sense in the end. All right, I hope. Okay, so we're done with the BLHeli. There's one more thing I wanted to show you before we turn this off. So let me go over here and let me show you what we're doing next, okay? So I'm gonna turn my back on, and I'm going to tell BLHeli to read the setup one more time. And I meant to show you this before I turn it off. Click OK. When you saved it, when we were done, what I want you to do also is I want you to make sure you turn Programming by TX off. So just click that and then click Right Setup. Okay? And the reason we want to do this is we don't want to accidentally go into that programming mode where our throttle is all the way up and it starts calibrating our ESCs again. We don't want to do that by accident. So we turn this off now. You only have to do it once, so you're done. Once you're done here, click disconnect. And you are now done with BLHeli, guys. That is all we're doing for BLHeli. We will now go back to beta flight and we will test the motor direction, set up our GPS, and we're about to give this thing a test run. See you in just a minute.